Welcome to channel viewers. There's an element of severe demasculination, defeminization in emotional incest. And it's like there's blinders on the people that are in it relative to the defense of the person that they're with. Now, it's not a matter of causing division in the family or upsetting the family or anything like that. It's a matter of order. And the principle behind emotional incest is there is no order. There's no boundaries. They got no consideration for one another. And this is flowing down from the parent, because the parent's supposed to portray or instill the domestic values and the domestic formation within their children. And if there's a breakdown in the parent relationship, there's going to be, and it goes emotional incest, there's going to be a breakdown in the domestic formation. And what happens is, because if it's a single mother house and the father's been ruined himself or done something stupid to lose his position, and he's lost respect in the house, usually from alcohol, disrespect towards the wife, she'll disrespect back, could be substance abuse. Sometimes you get the wife on one substance like wine, he'll be on beer. They might share in the dope. They might get on the nose beer every now and then, the cocaine and that. These people are bound and destined for disorder in their thinking, in the formation of their children, because they'll replicate to the children what the children think they need to be, and it'll take a very strong-willed child to go, no, I don't want to be like that. And this then transfers itself into their relationships because of the damage that's happened to them in their primary domestic relationship. If they don't heal from it and work out why it's happened and what part they played, that'll then go on with them into their future relationships. And what I've found with these people is a tremendous lack of restoration to themselves. Instead of restoring themselves, they've gone into emotional incest and relied on their relationship with their children to be the answer to their problems, and this don't work. Excuse me, viewers, still dealing with this cough. And so what'll happen is, you'll meet one of these people, you'll have no clue of the domestic formation. And if you don't find yourself in a situation where you're meeting the people's children, you're not going to be able to get a read on any emotional incest stuff at all. This will jump out at you later if it's there. If the parent doesn't live with the children, you've got more of a chance of the relationship working, even if there is emotional incest, because it can be buffered by the absence of the other family member, be it the parent or the child. Partners will tend to tolerate the relationship more because they've got space between the interference of the family member and the relationship. But this doesn't happen all the time. Most of the trouble and most of the damage, collateral damage, that emotional incest will do is when the parent lives with the adult child, or the child comes to live with the adult parent, and they'll go straight to work on the relationship. It'll be subtle, it could be covert, But while you're not there, they'll be working. I can remember in my second marriage, I come home one day, I don't even know why they continued the conversation. This is how unself-aware these people are. And they're talking about our private finances. And I thought, this little grub, this young adult male, can't even pay his rent. He can't even wipe his ass. She used to have to go and clean the toilet after him. I'd say, look, if he ain't going to clean the shit out of the toilet, you go and clean it. I'm not. This guy was a grub, right? An absolute grub. Grandized little grub from hell. Couldn't tell on the surface. Oh no, you couldn't tell on the surface. When people come around, oh, he was Mr. Goody. But what a grub. I mean, absolute grub. And I don't say that with any sympathy. I say that because I saw it with my own two eyes. This poor woman would have to go and get the brush and wipe all his shit out of the toilet because he wouldn't do it himself. That's what these parents do to these children. They disable them. And so when he moved in, they immediately went back into their romance, sort of covert emotional incest romance sort of dimension, and immediately started to undermine the relationship. Now, you would never have picked this. You would never have picked this in a million years. You know, you think these things are resolved. No. I've never seen a parent yet resolve or give way to putting things in order so that they can have a healthy relationship in their private life and with their children. I've never seen one yet, not one. And I've had about 4 or 5. And I'm not being critical, I'm just saying, like, you've really got to have, I've tried tolerance, I've tried understanding, I've tried communication. No. They always default to the DNA position in the covert emotional incest. Not at first. They wait till they got you hooked. And then they start backing off and trying to condition you and entrain your mind to put up with the absences and the negligences towards the private relationship, to cater for the covert emotional incest husband to son or adult daughter, wife to parent. These people value it. Oh yeah, you're not the first rodeo. Oh, they'll tell you you're the first man that's ever been in the house and this is why it's happened and all this rubbish and garbage. It's just rubbish, lies, and you're sitting there and you're going, oh yeah. Sure enough, before you know it, the family members are on the attack. It goes from covert to overt. And it's at this point you turn to your partner and you're waiting for them to put things in order. No, you're not going to get order. No, you're not going to get order. You're never going to get order. You're going to have to entrain yourself to tolerate sharing your private relationship with this person, with the emotional incest. The problem that you're going to have is, however, you won't last. You won't make it. You just won't last. Because it's too intrusive. It's just too intrusive. And too damaging. And you start to feel, are these people trying to demasculinize me? Like, you'll feel like your partner is trying to make you challenge the family member that's got the delusional fantasy that you're a bad person going on. But that's only going to give them weaponry against you. You do not engage the hostility of the family, delusional family members, because that then gives authority and authenticity to their claims. And then they'll build a case against you because you've made it real. Do nothing like the parent that should be fixing the problem. Do nothing. Mirror the parent, if you're with the parent or the person that you're with, mirror them and watch how committed they are to the covert emotional incest, to the overt emotional incest. And you'll be in awe. You'll say to yourself, why, this is such an easy thing to fix. Just speak up and say, look, this is not the person that I'm with that you're trying to portray. I have not once seen one of these adult women that I've been with do it. And I've heard stories of adult men that won't do it for their partners, and it's disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. So what happens at this point? You go into tolerance. And what that is actually doing is it's entraining your mind. You're now traumatizing your mind by virtue of hoping that the adult partner or the parental partner that you're with will resolve the issue. And this is the beginning of the end. It's not the fork in the road. It's the beginning of the end, because your mental health, as strong as you think you are, will start to erode. And the first sign of mental health erosion is resentment. Listen to what I'm saying, viewers. I'm trying to help you. Is resentment, micro-incremental resentments, where you've gotten past the cognitive distortion, where you're trying to distort your thinking to justify the attack of the other person. You've realized that this is a deliberate assault against who I am, and vandalism of who I am. And your resolve now is coming back to yourself, because there's no resolve to the relationship. There's no move. They will not fudge. They don't fudge. So then what happens is, if the person that you're with can't find a resolve and this goes on, they'll start to look outside the relationship somewhere or other, you'll never know, for soothing, because you're going to be blamed. Don't forget, you're getting vandalized. Doesn't matter how good your effort is or how bad your effort is, you're being vandalized, emotionally vandalized by these people. So the partner that you're with is going to go DNA, because they're not fixed. The unresolved is more important than the relationship, viewers. And you have to have enough self-awareness and self-identity and self-worth to say to yourself, oh God, these people, their issues are bigger than I realized. And you have to be aware that you're now being entrained. Okay? You're now being entrained, which means you're now being conditioned to suit the mentality under the influence of the emotional incest, suit the mentality of that person that you're with. You're going to suit that person that you're with, their mentality. And if you can't suit their mentality, then what you'll find is if they're narcissists, they won't have the courage to end the relationship. They'll hang on. They'll start winging it, hoping that you'll be able to cope with the reality of what's manifested. And if you can't cope with what's manifested, then you'll begin to get resentment and bitterness and disappointment. And you can express this to the person that you're with, and you can become urgent about it and try and say to them, look, I'm nearly at the end of this. I really want this to work, but no. And the relationship will collapse. Now, I've had one partner say, we've beaten the adult children, and I'm thinking, I haven't tried to beat anybody. I haven't had a problem with anybody. And I felt sorry for this person because there was nothing to beat. It was just a matter of putting things in order, and they were unable to do it. They were just unable to say, Jay, I've had a talk to so-and-so and everything's going to be all right. And we can get this relationship back to where it needs to be now. The other one was a marriage where the whole marriage was wiped out in a matter of weeks. I'm doing these videos because this covert to overt emotional incest issue is worldwide. It's local, community, state, country, worldwide, multi-continental, worldwide. And I'm doing it because as strong as I am and as much as I know my mind and all the rest of it, you lose the person that you were with, you lose the health and vitality that was coming out of the relationship, the bond that you had built together. You lose the happiness that you had. It steals all that away. And you lose your mental health. And you've got to make a decision. As much as I want this to work, it's not going to work. These people are not going to allow it to work in a way in which it's going to suit my mental health. And you have to go, I'm really at the point where I've got to save myself. These people are determined to continue down the path that they're on. And some people just don't know how to resolve. They just don't know how to resolve. They just don't know how to resolve. Because the DNA bond, the loyalty to that bond has such an influence and hold in the formation of the values of these family members that everything else becomes secondary. And you have to understand that you are outside this circle. I've been isolated. I've been barred from going to houses. And I've gotten to the point where I don't want to go. I don't want to go to your house. These people are too hostile. But what I would have liked was for the person to go, look, I've fixed it so that you can, but I understand that it's better that you don't. But there was never a resolve. You have to realize how damaging this is. Don't blame the people. You've just got to understand that they're damaging each other. Those children, adult children, may never find their purpose. The parent's not going to. They're just in survival mode. They'll just go week to week. And you'll be limited to the best part of the covert emotional incest relationship. And that's it. You have to make a choice. Is my life more important than this? This, what's happening here? And if you can recognize what I'm talking about and understand how dangerous and damaging it is, you'll have no choice but to say, yes, my life is more important than this. And I'm going to do better. Without conscience. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Bye for now.